Thank you, Noya, and thank you both for inviting us to this event. As Stephanie mentioned, I'm the advisor of the President for Gender Equity and also head of the Diversity and Equality Unit at the university. So my short talk will touch upon these issues, upon which we cooperate, the unit and the forum. For instance, we had an international workshop just a few weeks ago with participants from all over the world discussing the specific issue of gender equity in academia. But first, let me talk about the general context. The late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg famously recalled being turned away from a library at Howard because it didn't allow women inside. In 2023, such stories seem unbelievable. They seem to reflect a lack of gender equality in the past that seems very, very distant. But that is not to say that we live in a reality of gender equality in the present. Unfortunately, we are far from it. The origins of the attitude that support inequality still linger in higher education today. In Israel, according to the Council for Higher Education, women are the majority of enrolled students in every degree, from bachelor's to PhD. There are 53% of PhD students. But for women who choose to remain in academia, their opportunities for advancement and promotion are still not at par with those of men. And gender equity among higher education faculty is unfortunately still elusive. There are myriad reasons why this issue persists today. I will not have time, of course, to review all of them, but I will mention that some of the reasons are hardly intentional. The academic ethos could be blind to its own gender bias when it comes to recruitment and promotions, or to the prevalence of excluding practices like sexual harassment or work hours that are incompatible with achieving a work-family balance. But currently, there are two competing theories as to why the genders are still unequal in the workplace in general and in academy particularly. The first is the famous glass ceiling theory, which states that there are certain invisible barriers in place that prevent true equity from taking place. The second is the pipeline theory, which tells us that eventually everything will be okay. This theory stipulates that gender equity will be achieved, but over time, and there's no need for outside intervention. However, what we can learn from data all over the world, the pipeline is not a good answer, because even if in theory, eventually equality will be reached, the process is extremely slow. In the European Union, where gender equity programs have been in place for several years, the pipeline approach has not achieved the hoped-for goals. For instance, in a document distributed a few years ago by the EU to member countries and partners, including Israel, the EU clarified that academia remains characterized by fundamental inequality despite efforts by the EU and its state to achieve gender equality. Every year, the number of few female faculty is less than 1/2 of the number of female doctoral graduates, with few women hired into position entailing leadership and decision-making. Accordingly, the EU intensifies efforts and enriches the tools for achieving equality. The same happens in Israel. where a new program has started 2 years ago. In a moment, I'll talk more about it. But I'll just say that at the University of Haifa, we tackled this issue head-on by establishing a gender equity unit and drafting a strategic plan that we submitted to the Council for Higher Education. This plan expands upon what is called by the Higher Education Council the Equator Index program, which measures and assesses data in ways in which higher education institutes are addressing gender inequity among the ranks for the next 5 academic years. Well, in our university, the data is not bad. Actually, the University of Haifa remains very close to meeting the requirements presented by the Council Planning and the Budgeting Committee, both in terms of gender parity at large and in terms of the percentage of women in senior academic ranks. Yet, we are seeing a dismaying trend that the higher the rank of a faculty member, the more likely that that person will be a man. The higher the ranks, the fewer are the women. So as such, we have launched a project which we named the METIS project, which is aimed toward mentoring women researchers at the university. And we emphasize it, the efforts that must be dedicated to early career researchers. And this is what the project is focused on. This program provides much needed leadership workshop, cognitive training, and it advocates, for example, for gender-neutral language on campus in order to help level the playing field. In the next year, we hope to achieve gender parity in senior management position across the board and make our university culture even more inclusive. I believe that the University of Haifa has the building blocks to establish a paradigm of achieving gender equality. And while being proud of our achievement, we work hard to build a better future for our daughters and granddaughters to live in. There are many, many challenges that we are struggling with, theoretical and practical. To sum up, I'll mention just one of the current challenges that our team is working on and thinking about. We are now writing a theoretical and practical position paper on this, and this is the meeting of gender equity with aims of diversity and intersectionality, which is not, which is theoretically, it's not an easy task, and we're trying to decipher how to get the optimal results. So this is just an example to many challenges we have in the university, but I think that the main thing is awareness to the challenges, to the goals, and commitment to advance them. Thank you.